Good afternoon, everybody. Louise here. Right, on Sunday we have a full moon. The full moon, the harvest moon, is in Aries. Right, if you're like me and you are a Libra sun, you might be feeling a little bit schizophrenic. So if you have a Libra, if your sun sign is Libra, you might well be feeling a little bit torn over something, or you might feel a little bit changeable in your moods. Right, what do I mean? Right, I'm a Libra sun. I'm also an Aries rising, which means that although I have all the traits of a typical Libra, I can also be quite dominant and domineering at times, particularly when I have my mind set on something. So quite typically Libra in lots of ways where I can be quite indecisive. Around this time of year I become more decisive, and my dominant thoughts and actions are more mimicking the Aries than the Libra. However, this full moon I'm feeling as though I'm flipping from one personality to the next. On some things I'm very indecisive, kind and caring. Obviously Libras are all very truthful and honest, and they tend to hate injustice and unfairness, and that goes without saying. But they don't always stick the head above the parapet and say something. This time of year for me is the best time of year, because it's when I tend to get more things done, because the Aries part of me is highlighted for some reason. Don't forget, if you're a Libra sun, Aries is your opposite sign. Whereas Aries can be forthright, domineering, sometimes quite selfish, sort of in charge type people. Libra can also be domineering and cutting and forthright, but they do it in a more diplomatic way. Now my Aries part of me is helping me out at this time of year. This is how I see it, because sometimes diplomacy just doesn't work, and you just need to be a little bit more forthcoming, a little bit more assertive, and sometimes a little bit more aggressive. Now, I'm not saying I've been more aggressive, but I am feeling very strongly that this month, particularly for Librans and Aries, because conversely, if you're an Aries sun, you have the moon and the sun in Aries. But conversely, if you have an Aries sun, not about this time of year, but your opposite sign is Libra. So Libra sometimes comes along, especially when the moon is in Libra. For Aries people, they tend to be a little bit more softer, more diplomatic, more kinder and less domineering around the time when the sun is in Aries, the moon is always in Libra. That's also very helpful for Aries people. Right, that said, I'm feeling that this new moon, there is some sense that things need to be written down. Now, I don't know whether who's going to watch this and when they're going to watch this, but I have a sense that someone is going to watch this. Someone will be drawn to this video who is perhaps thinking about doing something in the way of written work. It could be an essay that you've got to get in. It could be an article that you are writing. It could be a blog post. It could be some creative writing. You could be an author. You could be a songwriter. Or, on a more personal note, you may have been putting off writing a letter to someone who means a lot to you, but you've been putting it off because some bad blood has flowed under the bridge. Now is the time to get that thought on paper. There is a thought, an idea that you have been having for quite some time. That thought is going to become stronger and stronger, and I know that whoever is going to watch this, might be all of you, it might be one of you, it might be none of you, but I know someone will be watching this who has some action to perform that involves writing, creative writing, as well as some, maybe a letter of apology. In our relationships during this time, we are likely to blow the lid off and have arguments with people through some knee-jerk reaction. There might be more arguments during this time. I'm just feeling as though it's almost a very schizophrenic time of year. It's unusual for me because I'll tell you what's happening with me. For a long time, particularly over the course of this year, lots of things have happened in my life, both to do with my family, my health, my emotional health, and my personal circumstances. And through that, I have tended to procrastinate a lot. I've also tended to, rather than get on with things, I've sat back and watched. There's been some element of waiting to see what's around the corner, or trying to work out the best way forward for myself. And then yesterday I actually did this full moon reading, and I thought it was quite marvellous, and something happened to the camera and it switched off. So today the thought on the full moon is slightly different. Now I have to crack on because for some reason my camera will only do 21 minutes and then it cuts off. I don't know why. So I want to first off start with a postcard from Spirit. Yesterday what happened to me was that I remembered I've got a website and I haven't been using that website, although I've accumulated a lot of subscribers. It turns out yesterday I noticed that I've got quite a few subscribers that I actually hadn't been notified about, and people signing up to my website for newsletters, which I also didn't know about, but I haven't done a whole lot with this website. So I meditated, and then I had this urge to write something which will be going up on my website, and it was a message that I clearly got from my meditation, and it also reminded me that there's a lot more going on in my life than I've been willing to recognize, and maybe you will identify with that also. Maybe there are things that you've left to one side for long enough, put it out of your mind for long enough, and all of a sudden around this time you're going to remember some of the things that you have got going on that you've allowed to fall by the wayside. So this card is, dearest wonderful you, to help you manifest a life for the highest good, we invite you to examine your deepest desires. Imagine all your desires, no matter what kind, like magic seed pods in a basket, glowing with infinite potential. Look closely at each one. Are you afraid that some may bring you too much attention and invite negative reactions from others? Is change too daunting? Are you afraid to stretch and grow? Let yourself be led forward and let the seeds of positive intention take to the wind. Your desires count and you are worthy of them. They are essential for co-creating your world. Did you ever consider that when a desire comes from deep within you, it might be spirit moving you to create something beautiful to share with others? Wow. Some desires are infused with miraculous powers to move the heart and influence the world in ways you can't possibly know. Right, this means a lot to me, and I know it will mean a lot to someone else. This business about, are you afraid in some way that some things that you've put to the wayside, is there a fear that your life might change if you actually paid some attention to the things that you've been leaving to one side? For me, I can honestly say yes, for many reasons. But the website, for instance, I'm trying to build that myself and I have absolutely zero knowledge. I say all the time, I have this really posh camera, I don't know how to use it. I'm still recording this on my phone. I have a fear of that. But the website also, yes, there is a fear. There is a fear that I might have too much work coming in at some point and I might not be able to manage all of that. There is also a fear that I probably could manage that, and weirdly it's also a deep-seated fear of success. I'm not frightened of failure. I'm no stranger to failure, but I don't know what success looks like. So yes, there is a fear there. Are you the same? Are you the opposite? Are you not attending to something because you fear failure? But it is time to attend to those little things that you've allowed to fall by the wayside. And this is very strongly linked to creativeness, very strongly linked to writing of some description. This morning's meditation was leading me down the path of an author, whether you're a budding author or a poet or a short story writer. There is something around writing. It's really important that you put your fears to one side of success or failure. And don't forget, we're talking about Aries, Libra. Complete opposites. We've got the gentle, the indecisive, the one who likes fairness and justice, against someone who can be quite warlike, aggressive, over assertive, in charge. So we've got a little bit of a schizophrenic time going on. Sounds weird, I know, but it's almost as if that get up and go that got up and went has reversed, and it's now time for action stations. And I know this probably might not make sense to all of you. It might only make sense to one of you, but it will make sense to at least one of you, because I know at least one of you is going to see this reading. So whatever it is that you've been thinking about, whatever ideas that you have, that you are thinking about to put down on paper or on a computer in a blog, or, you know, it's time to get on with it and to put your fears to one side, because if you don't, that's not manifesting. And also, let's face it, we're talking about a full moon. Full moons are about endings, putting the shit to bed, once and for all, and preparing for a new beginning. And it starts now. The full moon, we feel the full moon usually about 3 days before it happens. I'm feeling it much earlier for some reason. So so we've got the Hermit. The Hermit, a journey of self-discovery. Remembering all those aspirations, all those things that you put down that you wanted to do, all the things that you've forgotten to do, like me with my website. Totally forgotten I had a website. I put it out of my mind. That was a very subconscious thing, and it was also based around the fear of not being able to manage the website, because I'm a one-man band with no technological skills. That doesn't mean I'm not capable, but it also helped me procrastinate, sit back and put that back into some little recess in the back of my mind. And yesterday the light went on and I remembered, and the meditation guided me towards writing something to put on the blog part of my website. This is about this. It's about going in, it's about reflecting, and it's about finding those little bits, those little chinks of light that were once there that you've buried. So the Hermit, number 9. No. Okay. And if you do that, we have the 6 of Wands. This talks about success, victory after battle. It talks about gaining some recognition, and perhaps it's the recognition for your own ability that you need to recognize that you can do more than you think you can do. You're yeah, and Wands are about creativity. The Wands are about creativity. That's fire. That's fire. Aries is fire. It's about moving forward. And to end the last card, we have the Queen of Swords. Releasing things that don't serve you, cutting things out that don't serve you, being determined to forge forward. There's a butterfly on that sword. Butterflies symbolize transformation. Coming out of the little cocoon and the state of procrastination and shyness, fear of embarrassment, fear of success, fear of failure. Coming out of that, rising above it, getting some fire in your belly, transforming. So write down, have a think, go back into the back of your mind to that time in not so long ago where you had big ideas, where you had this creative inspiration to start something, maybe something new, or maybe to finish something you've already started but threw in a cupboard somewhere in the recess of your mind and have forgotten about it. It's time to resurrect those ideas and put the worries to one side and get writing. This full moon, write down your agenda of the things that you want to let go of. Write it down, take it outside and burn it. It is symbolic, yes, I know, but it's also there's something subconscious about the act of burning a list of things you want to get rid of. I used to do it with my children. If they had a bad dream, I used to get them paper and pens and they would draw and colour their dream if it was a bad dream, and then we would take it outside and burn it, and they never had that dream again. So write it down, take it out, burn it. Have a think, go through your cupboards, go through the recesses of your mind, have a look at all the things that you've started and haven't finished, because now is the time to finish them or to continue to work on them. So have a good day, have a good full moon, see you soon, take care, be kind. Ta-ra.